My friend, I need to confirm this information more than once because it seemed too Isana to be true, but it's real. The Raiders are being touted as a destination for not one, but two players available on the market right now, and the connection with the new coaching staff explains everything. A surgical, intelligent operation that could reshape the Las Vegas defense once and for all. Like, subscribe, and stay until the end because this signing is Isana. The Las Vegas Raiders are in a transitional moment for the 2026 season, with high expectations regarding the defense after the end of a low-performing season. Under the supervision of Clint Kubiak, who focuses on the offense, and Rob Leonard, now in charge of the defense, the team is preparing to implement a new 3-4 scheme, a robust defensive format, but one that requires versatile and adaptable players. Expectations are high, and the change in defensive philosophy promises to be the turning point that time so desperately needs. A new beginning, a new philosophy. The change. The move to a 3-4 scheme is significant, as it requires a defensive line that is not only physically strong, but also flexible and capable of adapting to different scenarios. The transition to this format will be challenging, and the team needs players capable of dominating the running game and also generating pressure on the quarterback. Therefore, the Raiders will need players who excel in these aspects, and the focus now is on defense. The crucial role of Travis Smith. This is where Travis Smith, the Raiders' new defensive line coach, comes in. Known for his work with the Chicago Bears between 2022 and 2024, Smith knows the strengths and weaknesses of Chicago's players well and could be key to bringing in reinforcements already on Las Vegas's radar. Smith is an essential piece in this process, as his familiarity with the Bears roster puts the Raiders in an advantageous position to seek reinforcements that can perfectly fit the game philosophy of the new defensive coordinator, Rob Leonard. With Smith's deep knowledge of Chicago's available players, the Raiders may target players who have a good track record against the opposing team, but who, for some reason, are no longer in their plans. These players are, therefore, options that the Raiders can evaluate more closely, since Smith is well positioned to give his opinion on who might be useful in the Raiders' new 3-4 scheme. The future of the Las Vegas defense may depend on these strategic moves. Tummaine Edmonds, a linebacker option. Among the most discussed names, Tummaine Edmonds, the Bears' center linebacker, emerges as a possible addition to the Raiders. Edmonds, who is looking for a trade due to salary cap issues in Chicago, had a solid season in 2025, showing a consistency that could be valuable for his time in Las Vegas. He is an athletic player with good game reading and professional pass coverage skills. As the 3-4 scheme requires fast and agile linebackers, Edmonds would be an excellent addition to provide more detail and depth to the defense. The main challenge for the Raiders would be a matter of cost, especially regarding draft picks. Although Edmonds is a high-level player, speculation indicates that the Raiders don't want to give up many draft picks to acquire the linebacker. However, the need to reinforce the defense and the possible availability of Edmonds due to salary pressure from the Bears could make this trade a more viable option. The Raiders need an impact linebacker, and Edmonds, with his experience and skill, would be a great addition alongside young talents at the position. Gervon Dexter, a solid alternative on the defensive line. In addition to Edmonds, another name that emerges as an interesting option is Gervon Dexter, a defensive tackle who, although he has some limitations in the game against the running game, is a force in the pass rush. Dexter has accumulated impressive numbers in recent years, with 11 sacks and 83 quarterback pressures. His playing style is very focused on the quarterback's start, something that would fit well into the 3-4 scheme of the Raiders. Even with his weaknesses against the run, Dexter's ability to create quick pressure plays could be a major asset, especially if he can develop alongside other talents in the Raiders' defensive system. If the Las Vegas Raiders are already monitoring potential trades with the Chicago Bears for names like Tummaine Edmonds and Gervon Dexter to strengthen their defense in the new 3-4 scheme, it's clear that the priority is strengthening the defensive core. And this move could gain even more momentum with rumors that the Minnesota Vikings are open to trading Javon Hargrave, putting the Raiders in contention with the New York Giants and Pittsburgh Steelers for another significant reinforcement for their defensive line. While the Raiders look to bolster their defense, other NFL teams are also making interesting moves, and one key player may be available for trade. We're talking about Javon Hargrave, defensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings, who may be looking for a new home. The player's situation is critical because, despite being an important addition to the Vikings' defensive line, Hargrave has not lived up to the expectations generated by his 2-year, $30 million contract. Now, with Minnesota looking for salary cap space, talks about a trade have gained momentum, and the Raiders, along with other teams, could be the player's next destinations. Hargrave, who started 15 games in the 2025 season and recorded 52 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 31 pressures, performed respectably, but failed to fully justify the $15 million per season investment. He was a solid addition to Minnesota's defensive line, but the Vikings have a complicated salary cap situation and are looking for ways to alleviate that pressure. The reality is that if the Vikings can't trade Hargrave, they may be forced to waive him, him, which would open a new window of opportunity for other teams. The Vikings' salary situation may make a trade inevitable, and teams interested in acquiring Hargrave will need to act quickly. The good news for interested parties is that if Minnesota fails to trade Hargrave, he could become a free agent and be acquired for a cheaper contract. However, while this possibility is not yet confirmed, it's clear that Hargrave is no longer seen as an indispensable piece for the Vikings' immediate future. Teams interested in Hargrave, the Giants, Steelers, and Raiders, are among the teams most mentioned as possible destinations for Hargrave. Let's understand why each of them is interested in the player. With Dexter Lawrence being a dominant presence on the defensive line, the Giants are looking for more support on the interior of the line. Lawrence, while one of the best at his position, has been overburdened with responsibilities, hindering his performance. Adding Hargrave could alleviate this pressure and further improve the interior of the defensive line. Hargrave would bring the necessary experience to complement Lawrence's work and ensure a more robust and balanced defense. Although Pittsburgh has a solid interior defensive line roster with players like Cameron Hayward and Derek Harmon, the team needs more depth. Hayward is aging, and Harmon is still adjusting to the NFL level. Signing a veteran like Hargrave could be the perfect move for the Steelers, offering stability and physical presence on the line, as well as easing the workload on their younger players. For the Raiders, Hargrave represents a great opportunity. Las Vegas has struggled on its defensive line, and adding a player of his caliber could be a major boost. The Raiders have significant salary cap space and enough draft picks to make a trade that benefits the team in the long run. Hargrave's versatility, being able to play both against the run and pressure the quarterback, is something that fits well into Rob Leonard's scheme. For the Raiders, this is the right season to invest in a defensive lineman, and Hargrave would be the ideal addition. One of the biggest challenges for any team interested in Hargrave will be timing. Trade talks have already begun, but there's a risk that teams will wait to see if the Vikings actually need to waive Hargrave. If that happens, interested teams could acquire him at a lower cost and without having to use draft picks, making the trade more financially attractive. On the other hand, the risk of waiting is that another team could move quickly and make the trade before the Vikings release him as a free agent. With the Raiders implementing a new 3-4 defensive scheme and the possibility of reinforcements like Tummaine Edmonds, Gervon Dexter, and Javon Hargrave, how do you believe these moves will impact the Las Vegas defensive line and the team's ability to compete in the 2026 season? Leave your opinion here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later to update you with the latest Raiders news.